Hello friends, welcome to today's heart-centered Hatha yoga flow. This is a strength-based class that is going to help us release stagnant energy and emotions that no longer serve us so that we can step into a space of clarity, trust, and self-love. We're going to get started right away in a tabletop position, coming onto all fours. For this variation, we'll start off with our wrists facing forwards, fingertips facing towards the knees, palms on the earth, and begin to shift your weight forwards and backwards, stretching out the forearms, mobilizing the torso, waking up the spinal column, flipping the grip again, fingertips towards the knees, palms facing skywards, again shifting your weight forwards and backwards, noticing a deep stretch along the wrists, returning to a traditional tabletop position, and we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, arch the back, open the heart space, gaze up. Exhale, press into the palms, curl and round, chin to chest. Beautiful, a few more times. Transitioning into a neutral spine, walking the fingertips out in front, and we'll come up into our first downward facing dog. Pelvis is raised, legs are extended, guiding the heels towards the earth. Gaze is between the feet, grounding down through the palms, the fingers, creating space between the earlobes and the shoulders, engaging the core. Feeling your connection with this posture, with the breath, noticing what's unfolding for you. Shortening the stance slightly, walking your feet a few centimeters closer to your palms. Place your right palm on the outer edge of your left ankle, twisting the torso to the left, gazing underneath that left armpit, feeling a beautiful release along the back body, keeping the pelvis stable. Breathe. Returning your arm to the earth, and we'll swap sides, this time using the left palm to grab a hold of the right ankle. Nice and slow breaths, feeling that release. Wonderful, gently release, and we'll come up into a three-legged dog, raising the right leg skywards, bending the knee and placing the right foot down between the palms, lowering the back knee. Inhale, raise the arms skywards, low crescent moon, Anjaneyasana. Joining the palms together at heart center, pivoting the torso to the right, we'll place the outer edge of the left tricep against the right thigh, pressing into the palms to help you with your twist, and you might like to extend your back leg, raising the knee. This is a beautiful way to strengthen the lower body, as well as cultivate balance and trust. Breathe. If your back leg is in the air, mindfully lower the knee to the earth, point the back toes, raise the arms. Exhale, frame the front foot, hinge the hips back, straighten the front leg, half monkey. If it's in your practice, maybe folding forward and rounding over that leg. The foot is flexed, the toes and the kneecap are facing skywards. Feeling a lengthening along the hamstrings, the calf muscles, the Achilles. One more breath. Inhale, bend the front knee, low crescent moon, and either staying here or flexing the back knee in and using your palms to guide the left heel to the glutes, keeping the hips squared. This is a tremendous quad stretch, a variation of lizard pose, so ease your way into this posture. Feel the opening of the heart space. You might like to raise one arm skywards. And gently release, plant the palms down, transition through tabletop and sink the hips back, child's pose. Allow yourself to soften. Inhale, press into the palms, tabletop. Walk the fingertips out in front slightly, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Finding length. Grounding down through the right foot. Inhale, raise the left leg, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, guide the knee to the chest, place the foot down, lower the back leg. Inhale, raise the arms, lower crescent moon. Really engaging the lower abdomen here so that we are protecting the lumbar and sacral regions of the spine. Hands in prayer position, twisting the torso to the left and finding a spinal twist. Maybe extending the back leg. Breathing into any tension. Feeling yourself creating space with every exhalation. Well done. Lower the back leg down, Anjaneyasana. Plant the palms down, half monkey, straighten the left leg, send the hips back. Maybe folding onto that leg. Rebending the left knee, raising the arms up, low crescent moon, option to stay here or coming into a variation of lizard pose as we flex the right knee and guide the right heel to the glutes. Feeling the opening in the front of that right leg. Scissoring the inner thighs to protect the pelvis here. And maybe raising one arm skywards, finding what feels good, respecting your energy levels for today. Gently release, return the palms to the earth, tabletop, and child's pose. Great work, everyone. Inhale, press into the palms, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog, stretch it out. Perhaps the back of the legs are feeling a little bit more open. Maybe you can guide the heels closer to the earth, but knowing that you can always keep a bend in the knees if that is preferable for you. Guiding the right knee to the chest, and we'll set up for pigeon pose. Back leg is extended, hips are squared. You might like to stay here or join us in mermaid pose, flexing the left knee, guiding the left heel towards the glutes and using the left palm to guide that foot towards the torso, maybe looping your foot in the crevice of your elbow, perhaps raising the right arm skywards, or you might like to find a bind, interlacing your fingers together. And if it's in your practice, maybe coming into King Pigeon, honoring your energy levels for today. Breathe. Wonderful. Mindfully making your way to downward facing dog, pedaling out the knees, releasing any tension that might have built up in the outer hips. And let's take this on the other side, setting up for pigeon pose, left knee is in front. If you're joining us in mermaid pose, guiding the left heel close to the right hip so that you're supported. Bending the right knee and using the right palm to help guide the right heel towards the glutes, towards the torso, finding your expression. Wherever you are in the posture, gently releasing palms to the earth and downward facing dog, taking any organic movement here. And gently returning the knees to the earth, point the toes, child's pose. Finding a beautiful counter posture to round out the lower back, creating space. Breathe. And from here, gliding the torso forwards as we come up into Sphinx pose, the Lamba Bhujangasana. This is a beautiful posture to help us correct any imbalances that might arise from sedentary activity. You might like to stay there or join us in bow pose, lowering down into a prone position, flexing both knees, guiding the heels to the glutes, and using your palms to grab a hold of the medial edges of the ankles. We are going to simultaneously inhale, lift the chest and the legs up off the mat. How high can you arch the back, lift the body, extend the arms, elongate the spine. Doing your best to keep the knees aligned with the hips and lower down, well done. Coming into Makarasana as a recovery posture, forehead on the hands, big toes together, heels turned out. Breathe. And we'll try this again, coming into bow pose. Hands on the ankles. Inhale, raise the chest, raise the lower limbs, feeling a beautiful expansion around the heart space. Feel yourself opening to receive nature's infinite intelligence. Feel your inner courage, your inner strength. Breathe. And gently release. Beautiful work. Coming into crocodile pose. Placing the palms under the shoulders. Pressing the torso up and sinking the hips back, child's pose. Gifting yourself one more loving breath in this posture. Placing the palms under the shoulders and gently unraveling the spine, rising into a seated position. Placing the palms on the lap, closing the eyes. Either staying in diamond pose or joining us in camel pose, coming into a kneeling position. Knees are hip-width distance apart. Placing the palms on the sacral region of your spine, fingertips facing towards the earth. Begin to arch the head back as you draw your elbows towards one another, pushing the pelvis forwards. We'll try this again, coming into baby camel. Opening the heart space, engaging the abdomen and release. Either staying with this variation or coming into a full expression, extending the arms overhead to grab each heel, relaxing the glutes, smiling up to the universe. Breathe. Either staying in a static camel posture or coming into a dynamic camel, raising one arm up at a time, scooping the chest forwards, And swapping arms, raising the pelvis, the heart space, and then guiding the sits bones towards the heels, allowing this to be an intuitive movement. Returning to camel pose, one more breath. And mindfully placing your palms on your lower back, returning to diamond pose. And we'll take a counter posture, lowering the forehead down onto the mat, child's pose. For this variation, the arms are extended the length of the body, palms facing skywards. And gently unraveling the spine. Well done. From here, we will lower down onto our sits bones, scooting forwards to the front of the mat, ensuring that you have enough space behind you. Placing your palms under your thighs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, curl and round. And again, finding a variation of a seated cat and cow. One more round. And on your next exhalation, lowering down vertebra by vertebra. Finding a neutral position for the spine, drawing the knees to the chest. And you might like to circle the knees, the hips in one direction. Feeling a beautiful release for the inner thighs, the hip flexors, the lower back. And mindfully returning the feet to the earth. Heels are underneath knees, feet are hip width distance apart. We'll come up into a bridge lift, raising the pelvis, the lower back, the mid back, squeezing the glutes at the top, engaging the inner thighs, and interlacing your fingers together behind the back, keeping the arms extended, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another to really help you open the heart space. Raise the pelvis a little higher. And gently release. Well done. You can either stay with this variation, or if not, we'll come up into wheel pose, raising the arms, flexing the elbows, placing the fingertips above the shoulders, fingertips facing towards the heels, rounding down through the feet and the palms. We'll press up into an arc. Doing your best to keep the arms straight here, pushing the chest forward so that we are lengthening the spine. If it's in your practice, you might like to extend your legs. Playing around with any variations that suit you here. You might like to lower down onto your forearms. Really doing your best to lift that pelvis so that we can reduce any compression that's going on in the lower back. If you're on your forearms, you again might like to straighten the legs. Be mindful, this is a very deep variation of this back bend. And wherever you are in the posture, mindfully releasing, lowering down vertebra by vertebra. Drawing the knees to the chest, ensuring that the lower back maintains contact with the earth. And taking any movement here that feels nourishing. We'll come into supine pigeon pose, crossing the right foot atop of the left thigh, interlacing your fingers around the left shin or underneath the thigh, keeping the right foot flexed. Gently release, move the hips over to the right as you let the legs go towards the left. The right knee is facing skywards, gaze to the right. Mindfully unraveling, and we'll take supine pigeon pose on the other side, finding your variation. Coming into a supine spinal twist. Keeping the shoulders in contact with the earth, feeling a beautiful release for the lower back, maybe the outer hips as well. Well done, knees to chest. We'll come into another spinal twist, interlacing your fingers around the right shin and using your left palm to guide the right knee over to the left. The left leg is extended, gaze to the right, keeping the shoulders in contact with the earth. Breathe. Gently unraveling, and we'll take this spinal twist on the other side. Mindfully release, knees to chest, and we'll come into Happy Baby Ananda Balasana. Using the index finger, the middle finger, and the thumb to grab a hold of the big toes, or maybe grabbing the ankles, the outer feet. It might feel nice to extend both legs at the same time for a hamstring stretch. Find what feels good. Well done, taking any last movements here that feel right for you, and in your own time setting up for Shavasana, corpse pose, final relaxation. Extending the legs, elongating the arms, allowing yourself to melt into the earth, knowing that you are supported here, knowing that you are safe. Noticing how the body feels in this moment compared to the start of practice. Perhaps you notice no difference at all, and knowing that that is okay as well. Simply being curious. Allow your attention to be guided towards the breath and find stillness. We will conclude practice today in Shavasana. I invite you to stay here for as long as you like. Thank yourself for showing up today. Namaste.